Did Razer make a new Orochi? Or is this egg edible? No, and maybe. So this is the Zaopin Z1. It has a rather familiar looking shell, sports a Pixart 3395 sensor and costs only $40. Is it good or not? Let's find out. I want to start with the sensor position with this mouse. If you watched other people's reviews of this mouse, you might have seen that the sensor position was aligned to the left of the mouse, which was a bit of a weird design choice. It seems that Zaopin listened to the customers very quickly, and from 22nd of April the mouse now has a centered sensor. I believe they are able to make these quick adjustments to their models because from a Reddit thread I read that Zaopin owns their own factory. I can't vouch for the credibility of that source, but I imagine it would take a lot more time to make these changes if the mouse was produced in a separate factory. The basic specs of the mouse are now displayed on the screen, and it is in fact sporting a Pixart 3395 sensor with the Comp X MCU. The mouse is available in two different battery sizes, which affect the weight a bit. Mine is sporting the 300 mAh battery, and the weight is 67 grams on my scale. Not the lightest, but not the heaviest. The mouse came in a sleek looking package, and with the mouse you obviously get the USB cable, extender and a dongle. The cable is angled to the side because the charging port of the mouse is located on the back of the mouse. Still, I wouldn't use the mouse with the cable attached because it is still very annoying even though the cable is angled. Then you get a pair of extra PTFE skates and some extra grips with the mouse. And oh yeah, I almost forgot, you get an extra back plate which you can swap out very quickly to the mouse. Mine came with the white one and I ordered the white transparent version. The build quality of this mouse is surprisingly solid for a mouse at this price point. There is some minor flexing from pressing firmly from the sides, and the main buttons have some sideways wobble, but these happen because of the design of the mouse. If I take off the back plate of the mouse, you can see that the main buttons are sporting the same design as on the Xtrify mouse models. This means that you can clip them off and potentially swap them if you get a hold of another color. This extra plastic you can swap around is the main reason why there is some creaking happening. It is still a very sturdy mouse and the creaking doesn't hinder the usage in any way. One thing is very annoying though, and it is the backplate. Oh, I installed it wrong. Wait. Yes. Now we're talking. Yeah, so the most annoying thing with this mouse is the backplate, because it is held with 3 magnets that are not as strong as you would want. When my palm gets sweaty, the backplate can lift a bit when claw gripping the mouse. The main buttons are using the Kale GM8 and the implementation feels quite nice. There is a bit of pose travel and the amount varies with where you press the buttons, but the pre-travel is tuned nicely. Overall the click is snappy and better feeling than on my Pulsar X Lite V2 Mini at least. The scroll wheel is using the TTC Gold encoder, which has nice, somewhat pronounced steps. Out of the box the scroll wheel was really loud and dry, so I put in some loop and now it feels really nice. Thankfully the loop application was very easy to do with the removable main switch shell, and you can easily see the encoder if you remove the main buttons. The side buttons are Huano Black Shell red dot micro switches, and sadly they feel kinda mushy and cheap. There is just quite a bit of pose travel with them. They are positioned quite nicely however, and I didn't click them accidentally in any point of my testing. The mouse surface or the coating is very smooth plastic, which can feel a bit slippery depending on your skin type. For my hand, I found it to become sticky on the back area when my palm gets sweaty, but slippery on the sides. Luckily, the included mouse grips help with this a bit. The stock skates of this mouse are pretty bad. They are quite thin and I don't know how long they will last on a glass mousepad, and they can feel a bit scratchy on my Artisan Hien, for example. If I at some point ran them through, I think I will put some dot skates on this because I don't think there is aftermarket mouse skates available for this mouse. Then to the most interesting part. How does the shape compare to the Razer Orochi V2? As you can see, the mouse looks a lot similar than the Orochi, and measuring it revealed that it is similar in width and in height. The length of the Zaopin is a couple of millimeters longer than the Orochi, but I can feel that difference in length at all in my hand. There is a small difference on the top right corner of the mouse where the Orochi has a slight outwards curve, and the Zaopin has this tiny bit of inside slope there. They don't feel exactly the same on my hand, but almost similar. It seems that the older versions of the Z1, where the sensor was weirdly positioned, there was a big inward slope on the right side as well. But on my model it has been fixed to be quite similar with the Orochi. The left side of the mouse has a similar thumb groove than on the Orochi, which locks your thumb in place nicely. I quite enjoy this Zaopin's egg shape, and I can aim very confidently with this shape. The wireless performance of the mouse is very good as well. I measured the exact same motion delay than on the Pulsar X2, which has the same specs, the Pixart 3395 and the Comp X MCU. The motion delay is around 2 milliseconds, and that 1 milliseconds of extra motion delay compared to 3370 sensor mice is from the motion sync implementation, which sadly you can disable from this mouse, at least for now. I bit the bullet and installed the mouse driver software for this mouse, and while the Chinese language makes it seem that my computer is now mining Bitcoin on Zaopin's behalf, it is the basic Comp X MCU driver software, just untranslated. You can change things like debounce time on it, change DPI settings and lift-off distance, and also customize the RGB of this mouse. Speaking of which, the mouse has an RGB mode you can toggle on with the power switch. You can use this to impress your potential love interests and whatnot. So very cool. Also, the scroll wheel has RGB for some reason. You can customize that too, and you can activate it by changing the DPI. So in conclusion, let's put the RGB off. It's kinda distracting. Is the mouse worth $40? Damn right it is. Very solid performance and very good build quality. But yes, there is a big but. Sorry. If you want the lightest and potentially the best performance egg-shaped mouse, I'd suggest that to check out the Pro version that is now on pre-order on mechkeys. It has better specs, lower weight, and is also capable of 4000 Hz polling rate with an additional dongle that has not yet been released, however. The price of the Pro model is also only a few dollars more than this standard version. If you, however, want this particular model because of the RGB or the looks, or if you prefer the mice to be a bit more weighty, you can get this mouse from mechkeys from the link in description. In addition, you can use the code GEROR5 at checkout to save $5 from your purchase. The code is single use per customer, but that is it for this video. Press subscribe and like the video if you found this video helpful, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.